Hey, beautifuls, beautiful souls. Of course. No, I didn't get it wrong this time. I've literally just come out of the full moon ceremony, but I didn't get it wrong because last time I went live on my personal page and I was supposed to be in the full moon ceremony, but this time I got it correct. So we just finished the full moon ceremony and do I say holy moly every time because it's always like freaking amazing. So, and next level, and every single full moon ceremony is so different to each other. So, hey Deborah, our dragons turned up today though, it was so beautiful. So the last full moon of our decade is coming in, is happening right now. Well, we've just gone past the peak of it and it is 12/12, so is all these 12 numbers, right? And all these synchronistic flow. Everyone's like, you know, what is it, 11/11, but it's now 12/12/12. So all the synchronistic numbers. And as I always say, don't mind me, I'm just going to share this live stream, right? You know, we always say like, what is 11/11? What is all these numbers? And for me, whenever we see like any synchronistic flow, like we're always seeing like frequencies of numbers, right? For me, it's like we're divinely in flow, and it's awesome. It's awesome all the time, but it's awesome when we feel like things are not going right, or we're in a low space or anything like that. It's awesome confirmation when we see those numbers that we're still being cared for, that we're still in flow, even when it doesn't feel like it, right? So, hey Marina. So I'm curious how you guys are feeling. Those of you who are joining me straight out of the full moon ceremony, you're probably feeling amazing now after those shifts. But I'm curious how you guys are feeling because there's been some really intense energy around, hasn't there? Big clearings. And I feel like leading up to this full moon, and you know how I've always been saying, and I've been, you know, continually repeating, I'm like leading up to, you know, like our full moon is now. Yeah, everything is in full light. We're seeing the truth of all divine space, yeah, of everything going on. Let me concentrate, share this, and then I will be super present because I've got a lot to say, but I'm curious how you guys are feeling about it. So, hey, Robinson. All right, so let me see here. Okay, just finding this on the share button. Yes, thank you. Oh, and I've got so many things wanting to bust out of me and tell you and release, and oh my goodness. All right, awesome. I can get off my phone now. I've shared it. Hi. Okay, so I'm really curious, like what's been going on, because, and I shared on that post yesterday, like the energy update, and just said like it feels like very out of time. It's like, you know, like these big purgings and these waves, right? And I have to, like, I always talk about the cycles and the cycles of life and the cycles of emotions, and the moon has a beautiful full moon and it's all light and beautiful. And then 2 weeks later, she's in her dark phase and we barely see her, or we might see the slither in the sky and go, oh, how beautiful is that? We don't think about the dark stuff, right? However, in the cycles of life and everything we go through and these emotions and these waves, I always talk about, like, you really want to amplify your intuition, learn to ride the waves, right? Because people think, oh, I shouldn't feel these like negative vibrations and these negative emotions. And I'm like, if you don't feel them, you're pushing them down, you're burying them. Not only is that exhausting, but when we push them down like that, we're vibrating that out to the universe. When we consciously feel whatever's in our heart, this is our heart, yeah? Whenever we feel what's in our heart, we're not shutting it down, we're not blocking it off, right? When we feel that, it continues to move through us and move and transform rather than being shoved down, and that's what's vibrating, right? It's so important, so pertinent. So definitely purging, yes. And so these waves, right? And this is what I shared the other day, that these waves are like, it's so important that, you know, you check in. So we'll be feeling good, right? We'll be feeling really amazing. And then, you know, and then we start to get really tired and really exhausted, or maybe we get really angry or frustrated, or what's going on. This is the start of the purging, okay? And then we start to actually want to cry, or we actually feel sick, or we actually go to the toilet, or like whatever comes out of us, and we actually have a big purge, or we just want to sleep, right? We have a big purge, we have a cry, we have all this stuff. And then what happens? Then we start to feel good again. Yeah. And what do I always say? Here's the sacred four. The sacred four. Yeah. When we learn to ride these waves, we really tap into our intuition. So we always talk about triple goddess, the triune god, the three, right? And I say it's the sacred four. Okay. So there's more into that, right? But when we can really learn to ride these waves and recognize these stages, right? Let's just keep it simple. These 4 stages. We're feeling good, and then all of a sudden we don't feel good, and it's emotions, and it's purging, and or it's exhaustion, and we're like, what's going on? This is another layer coming up to shift out, yeah? And then we purge, we get it out, we go to the toilet, we sleep, get angry, whatever it is, it comes out, and then we feel good again, okay? It's what's really important to remember is that these are waves, these are cycles that continue to go on, just like the tide goes in and the tide goes out, and within the tide going in and out, the waves that keep on going over the top, right? So this is a constant cyclic space that we are in, and it's kind of no surprise to me that I'm talking about this so strongly, and it's really coming through because we've just stepped into the ear chakra consciousness in Rapid Ascension Awakening that I'm creating. And the ear chakras is all about connecting to the cycles of life to really amplify our intuition, because our ear chakras are these expansive grids. They're like multi-dimensional grids that tap into every reality. They're deeply connected to the feminine. They're deeply connected to our conscious physical reality. They're deeply connected to our heart and our base chakra. If we are closed up here, we're going to be closed in our heart, and we're going to be closed in our base, and we're definitely not going to be grounded. If we are open here, we're open in our heart, and we can manifest easily. Art of manifestation begins in your ears. Our ears are a direct reflection of our reproductive organs, especially for women, but with men it's still important, okay? Our ears look like our ovaries. This is where we open to receive, yeah? Got fertility issues, got manifestation issues, work on opening your ears, okay? Okay, so on point. So Robinson says, the past 2 days I felt a lot of irritation with my current situation, but felt a little hopeful the past hour. Yes, awesome. The past hour, full moon ceremony, just gone down and shifted out some big stuff. Oh my goodness. Feeling tired, being angry the last couple of days. Yes, Kate says, yep, feeling irritated, nauseous, and down the last few days. Then today a headache, but lighter and happier. Yes, awesome. So, hey Aaron, hey beautifuls joining. So when we look at this, you know, ears and the opening, right? And it's like we're just shifting into this next level of consciousness, right? We see like this is our last full moon of 2020, and our eclipse season starts, the first eclipse starts on the 26th of December. I'm pretty sure I checked. 25th, 26th, 26th, 27th, depending on where you are in the world. Somewhere around the 26th, right? So Christine says, I felt my third eye open last night very strongly, and I can't hear you. I'm trusting other people can hear me. Trusting other people can hear me. Just let me know if you can't, please. So interesting talking about the ears and you can't hear me. Can other people hear me? I'm curious. Let me know. What was I just going to say? Third eye. Oh yes, this third eye pressure. So because we've just stepped into the ear chakras, we've like, you know, as you guys know, if you follow me, I work from the chakras coming down from the top, and I include the ears. So I work with 8 chakras, not 7. And here is the sacred 4, the divine balance again. So instead of triple goddess, thank you for sound. Thank you. Triple goddess, triune god, I include the 4th component, yeah, which makes the sacred 4, which makes the balance, which is the 4 and 4 chakras, yeah. So this creates this divine balance coming back into balance. Like there's a 4, it's important, right? Okay, it's interesting. So that's so interesting, Christine, that you can't hear me. I'm curious about that, right? Yeah, for hearing me. Thank you guys so much. Okay, so so Deborah says, I'm anxious this evening before the full moon, and now I'm fine, ride the waves. Yes, exactly right. And this is why I always talk about, you know, if you want to be, I have to hold you to my ears. So interesting. Where are you not hearing things? Oh, I don't know. So feeling angry with God and felt it as higher self being more embodied and taking presence and ownership. Yeah, so I feel like when we have that, we go through that separation and anger with God, spirit, whatever we call it, we all go through that in our spiritual evolution of journey, right? And it feels like almost an abandonment, it feels like a lack of support, it feels like we're being let down, it feels like things are not working, it feels like, how am I supposed to do this work if I can't like what the hell, like, do you know what I mean? Like, this isn't what it's supposed to be about, right? And so when we we all go through that at some point. I definitely have, where I've felt like God has abandoned me and I'm like so angry at God. And do you know what I feel like this is? This is when we start to really shift gears from being external reality out there to in here. Yeah, and as you said, higher self starting to take ownership, exactly that, because instead of being a projection out there, it's actually where we start to own in here and start to own our power within ourselves and within this sense of like, we're like, oh, I'm the God. And it's not like, I'm the God and I'm like, not ego thing stuff, right? That's that overinflation, but this sense of like empowerment that actually I've got my own back. Actually, I can do it. Not in a blocking of receiving help way, just in a like, an empowerment way. That's the way I could describe it, right? It's us taking back our power rather than someone outside of us, even God, coming to save us, right? I spoke about this with a client just the other day in regards to clearing energy. So instead of calling Archangel Michael of 100% light, can you clear my energy, which is still a giving away of your power to something out there. Now, don't get confused because I teach this. Yes. Why? Because it's the first stage of development in your spiritual awakening. Then we continue to grow and evolve and we have these shifts where we start shifting and going, feeling like God's abandoned. We get angry at God and spirit and whatever. And then we go through this thing and we're like, oh, I am the power. I am the light. I'm not something outside of me. I don't need something outside of me. We still receive, again, is different here. But we shift from someone coming to save us, even Archangel Michael of 100% light, to I am the light and I expand my light from the inside out and push my light right to the edges of my aura, and the only thing in my aura is my light. I'm very clear about what's in my aura, in my energy field, in my blood, in my bones, in everything, every single part of my body. I'm super conscious and super aware of every single little energetic shift in my energetic field. Thank you, Archangel Michael, but I'm good today, right? And please know, like I said, don't get confused here, right? I'm teaching the stages of evolution of our spiritual journey and spiritual consciousness and human awakening. Yeah, there's different stages of awakening that we go through, right? So I'm always stressing about ask Archangel Michael. Why? Because it's stage 1, okay? For example. Okay, so, yes, third eye. I was talking about third eye. So let's have a look here. Okay, Kerry says, did the third eye meditation 3 times. Felt awesome, sparkly all over my body. Is that the advanced crystalline third eye activation that I just released in the Life Purpose mentorship? Because Corey said she had massive shifts with it too. That's why they're gonna last night, because I recorded it last night and released it to you guys in the Life Purpose mentorship. So this is, sorry guys, we're talking about the advanced third eye. So in the third eye chakra consciousness, which is available on my website, the advanced third eye crystalline activation, I recorded it last night, so I released it to my tribe. And then while I was doing it on my computer and putting the sound backing and stuff, I had the biggest freaking headache. And I knew, it was from that activation. It was I'm like, okay, I'm clearing out something here. I knew it, right? And it's, oh, Corey said she had that as well. And then you're just saying that too. So yeah, but it's super powerful in shifting that. So amazing. So I'll talk about third eye pressure in a second too. So Nita says, feeling what is the purpose of being here? Looking for purpose. Okay, awesome. So this is really important to remember. So this is, I talk about the stages of awakening or the cycles of healing, those sacred 4 stages, right? For example. So when we talk about that, it's like the, what is it? So like I said, we're feeling good and then we start feeling shit and we're kind of lost and we're like, all this stuff's going on, and then we have big purging and then we feel good again. Okay, these are the cycles. Now, there's always the stages of grief in a way, right? Any change can spur on this, and if we don't consciously feel our emotions, we can get stuck here. Now, it's also important to remember that whilst you're feeling that Nita, for example, feeling lost, what's the point, what's the purpose, right? You're also moving through it. Okay, so even though we're questioning those things around, like, what's the point, what's the purpose, I've tried all these things, it's not working, nothing's manifesting, like, you know, like, what's the point, like, I just give up, right? And what's happening is, in this point here, we need to be conscious that we're moving through it. Okay, we feel good, feel shit, all questions, all stuff, all emotions, all purging, physically sick, tired, whatever it is, processing, then we feel good again. We need to remember that we're always going through this. Yeah, the waves, the cycles, like I said, the ocean, the tide goes in and the tide goes out. And at the same time, the waves are always going over the top of the tide in, the tide out. The waves are still there. Doesn't matter how big or small the swell is, it's still there. Okay, sometimes they're massive swell and a big storm, and other times it's just a little bit. But if you recognize this pattern, it will always be there. Then when you combine, you want to do superpower, supercharge your intuition and your energy. That combined with tracking your menstrual cycles, even if you don't bleed anymore, track your emotions on a calendar. You'll see when you're more emotional, and then superpower on top of that, connect that with the moon cycles and track the moon cycles as well. Most modern day calendars have, you know, the full moon, like they have the moon bits on it, yeah? So you can always have a calendar like that, or a phone, or reminders, or whatever, but track these. And I usually say, and I say to my clients, over a 3-month period, track it. Why? Because that 10 days before we bleed, especially, is a real, like, it's the time when we have PMS, and people say we're more sensitive, or all those nice things, right? And it's like, it is, we're more sensitive. And that 10 days before we bleed, we track that on our calendar. So we know, don't book as many clients, don't be as busy, take extra self-care, take time off, sleep more. I'm really sensitive, I need more me time, leave me alone. Like, plan your calendar months like that, and you will start to see in total your life will shift, right? Even if you are busy on those times, you know that this is your most sensitive time. So you're speaking more kindly to yourself, not like, oh my God, this is all shit and what's going on and why am I feeling like this again? We're not beating ourselves up, okay? Because that's keeping us in that dark, low vibration. We want to continue to rise in our evolution of consciousness, especially moving into 2020 and beyond. This is such a crucial, pivotal time at the moment. This next, what are we now? So the next 2 to 4 weeks is a crucial, like, pivotal space that we're moving through, even with the eclipses, right? And as I said in my post yesterday, the eclipses are like, I don't know how I can describe what I see. Like, I see, like, even though it's different to a solar flare, I see eclipses like a solar flare energy, even though I don't know what a solar flare energy really looks like. But what I see is, like, say it's like human beings standing here, right? And then the solar flare energy comes through our field, and it's like it pulls away a big cloak of all the people's beings, like an old part of them is totally shifted, and they've got like this new skin that they're adjusting to, a bit like a lizard shedding its skin, right? That's what a solar flare does. An eclipse, I feel like, does the same thing to our consciousness. So we're shifting and rising, and we've got 2 eclipses coming up. So it starts on the 26th of December, 26, 27, right? And so be mindful that right now, feeling like that, Nita, is that you're moving through it. And the other part is, when I always say it's not that you're lost, it's that you're recalibrating. Any change will spur on something like, what's the point? What's the purpose? What's the purpose of it all? In this point, you're about to break through to the next level, right? And the biggest thing I say about manifesting or anything is that when it's the hardest part, that's when people usually give up, and they're like, I'm not meant to do this. And I'm like, can you please just don't make a decision in this energy, because you're about to break through, right? You're about to break through the hardest part. It's just like, you know, the mother wants to give up right before she has birth, yeah? So when we're in this, like, feeling lost, or what's the point, or what's the purpose, like, awesome questions to ask, but know that you're moving through it, and know that your clarity is coming. Now, like I said, that, like, change can trigger like feeling lost in what's the point and what's the purpose, like, do you know what I mean? Any big change, so a relationship breakup, moving house, career change, death in the family, like end of school, end of work, like end of something, right? So it's that thing, like, when we want to, you know, like when we've gone through any change, we're kind of like, our whole energy in life needs to recalibrate, yeah? Especially if we move house or a change of job, like your whole routine is just all of a sudden thrown out. And you have to remember that your internal compass is recalibrating and taking you onto the path that going. You just have to be gentle. Treat this recalibrating like the 10 days before you bleed. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if you do that, you'll just keep flying through the cycles, yeah? So Nita says, I cut my hair super short and keep donating things, so it's a huge purge. Awesome. Physical changes like that, cleaning out, donating, the need to like clean your house. And by the way, several clients have like said to me, they're like, I haven't come in here yesterday because I did this like massive clean of my house. Like, I never really do this, and I clean things and spring clean and swept outside, or like all this stuff, right? Those physical reality shifts are a prime, reflection of the inner changes that are going on, right? So in this recalibrating phase that I talk about, it's like, reality needs to catch up, because most of the time we've been doing this work, like the personal development work, working on ourselves, improving, whatever we're doing, right? Improving. And then we get to this point and it like, you know, like physical reality needs to catch up now. And so in this recalibrating phase, all that inner work that you've done, the physical reality needs to start shifting at some point, right? It's not just going to magically appear. Like, things will need to fall apart and get rid of so there's more space so it can come in, yeah, because your vibration has shifted. And so when we understand these cycles, like, these are the cycles of life, you know, in our modern day world, and we all live in separate houses, and we live in, you know, buildings that are all separated by walls and all that sort of thing. Like, tribal days, like the tribes, and of course there's still tribes today that really honor this, that the tribes honor such a change, such as death, right? You know, like, of course we still have funerals and stuff, but then we're like, you know, expected to zip it up and go back to work. Do you know what I mean? Like, whereas like the grieving process in a tribe would be going on for days and months, you know, like really honoring the grief and letting go, and any change, like whether they, you know, migrate or they move, like relationship or anything, it's really honored and marked. And we've really lost that in society. And this is why I'm constantly talking with my clients, do this ritual. Like, it might seem so simple, but it's so powerful. So when you have these kind of like, I feel lost, what's my purpose? Like, the fastest way to shift is to physically shift your reality. So move house or clean or declutter, or like that sort of thing. And you'll find that decluttering is a lot easier when you have had these internal shifts, right? And so when we can really shift and move that like physical external reality, especially when we've kind of come out of a big busy stage even, and we're kind of like stopped, and we're like, oh, it's like everything catches up again, the recalibrating. If you don't know what to do, shift and clean and rearrange, and honestly, you'll start to feel better. And then as you do, the ideas and the shifts will start coming through. If it doesn't, honor the rest period in the recalibration. Why? Because life's about to get busy again. Why? Because, and I'm not saying busy, like, you know, well, maybe it is, but why? Because you're recalibrating to go on to your new life again. So of course it's going to pick up again. Honor these phases, yeah? Honor these spaces of rest, yeah? The moon goes into dark mode and then she comes back into light mode, because these are the cycles of life. And we can work with these cycles in our entire life. That's when our magic powers start to amplify, and our intuition, by the way, right? What other messages want to come through? Or is that the messages that wanted to come through? Really honoring the cycles. You know, if you want to amplify your light in 2020, start tracking these cycles, start tracking your emotions, start tracking the moon, start tracking things. Like, honestly, do it for a 3-month period and you will start to notice patterns. Why? Because then you can start to support yourself rather than thinking something's wrong, or you've done a wrong turn, or you've done like whatever. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, oh, okay, the third eye pressure. Thank you. I knew there was something else. So a lot of people have been saying they've been feeling this third eye pressure, right? And again, we've just shifted out of the third eye consciousness into the ear chakras. And so what happens is we start to ground down our physical reality. As I said, our ears deeply connected to our heart, deeply connected to our base. And this is where we manifest. If we're not open here, we're going to have a hard time manifesting in our physical reality, okay? So with this is now, our third eye has now started to ground. Does that make sense? So we've been in the third eye, and now we're in the ears, so everything's starting to manifest in physical reality. So it's almost like it's pulling it down, but it's grounding down into our physical manifestation. So it's being the intuition in our day-to-day reality. It's, you know, that connection and seeing the truth in our day-to-day reality of every single thing that we're doing. Right? And so when we bring this, like we've just dropped into the ear chakra, so boom, like now that consciousness and seeing the truth and our clairvoyance and understanding the dynamics of relationships and seeing relationships and, you know, on an energetic level and understanding things, whether you see it, whether you feel it, you just know it. This is your intuition talking about, right? And you see and sense all of this. So you're actually grounding it down. So this pressure that you might feel in your third eye is actually the energy starting to shift and open through your third eye. So just like in a yoga class, for example, and you haven't been for a while, or it's your first time and you're holding your pose and you're shaking and your legs are like, you're trying to hold the pose and you're blooming shaking, right? So through our body systems is all the energy lines, yeah? The chi lines, the meridians. You know, when you go to acupuncture and they put the needles in, they're putting them on the meridian lines. When we're doing yoga, we're opening those meridian lines. The energy and chi is starting to flow again. If they've been blocked and you haven't been for a while, or the energy is like pushing it through to shift and be strong again and flow, that is like it's like shaking, right? And so you'll feel it and you'll be like, it's burning, right? And so when our third eye, and we feel that third eye pressure, that is actually the energy shifting through your third eye. So our third eye has the front of our third eye. It has then like a channel that goes through to the back of our head, yeah? So it's like through the center, right? It's like a channel that goes through the back, and then at the back there's a visual center. So there's three components to it, yeah? And so this third eye visual channel that goes through the back is there's three different sections, and they all have to repair and heal and open, right? To have like deep clairvoyance. So when you feel that energy, like if there's pressure or anything like that, know that you've just shifted something, or something's moving through and the energy's shifting, like it's opening. Do you know what I mean? Like the pressure moving it through, it's like, right? It's like burning. It's like because it's moving. Yeah. Same thing with the cycles. We're moving through it, even when it feels uncomfortable, even when it feels crap. Yeah. Learn to ride the cycles and you'll amplify your intuition. Feel authentically all parts of this, and you'll flow through life a lot easier. Yeah. With a lot more love rather than beating yourself up. So Pauline says, wow, my head's been hurting so bad lately, and that really hasn't happened before. I was wondering what was wrong with me. Yeah, there's big energetic shifts, and we're coming into ear chakras, we're opening the ears and changing the entire vibration of the planet, starting to manifest our physical reality, which is all really exciting. And speaking of exciting things, I've had like these like downloads of like, it's been like download after download after download, and then there's this like really like crazy ass intuitive download that I'm like, you want me to what? So coming out soon is some really crazy things that I thought I would never do again, because that's why I change things. But it's been such an intuitive pull these past 3 days that I have to listen. So please keep your eyes out. There's lots of things about to drop, and the intuitive coaching immersion is where you work with me for 6 months, deep 101 by my side. Can text me every day on WhatsApp if you so choose, and you will get my deep support in answering your questions. And this intuitive coaching immersion is specifically designed if you have all these amazing, energized, crazy ass ideas and you want to bring them to reality, but they're not here on the planet yet. I specialize in helping people bring modalities to the planet are not yet here and not following systems or structures, because that's how I built my business. Like, yes, of course, there's a bit of an intuitive structure, and that's what I gently help you with, to guide you on your intuitive path, to bring that to earth, because then you don't have to go through the same mistakes I went through. You don't have to fumble your way through. You've actually got me to bounce ideas off and help guide you with those amazing ideas, because your life purpose is not yet on the planet. If you relate to me, if you resonate with me and your life purpose and reality awareness and everything I share, is probably a 99.9% chance that you are also here to birth something that is not yet on the planet, to shift the humanity and to shift and awaken humanity and the consciousness on the planet, let alone the world structures, and to bring that heaven to earth back. Yeah, bring it to deep conscious awareness and live it and breathe it and birth it, baby. So the intuitive coaching immersion, the link is on the on the top here as well, and you can find it in the comments, and I will also post it on my page or send me a message if you've got any questions at all. Happy, beautiful full moon, beautiful souls. And remember, if you're watching on YouTube, you can like and subscribe to my channel so you can get notified as soon as I upload a new video. And if you think this live stream can help somebody, please tag their name in the comments or send it in a private message to them. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful divine full moon as we I'll breathe a sigh of relief as we feel that pressure of like the fullness, and now we can enjoy that deep reflection. Yeah, so much love to you guys.